volunteers in Chile provide daily supplies to families in the slum. We look at the difficulties new graduates face as they look for jobs. Welcome to Diet Headlines. I'm Sirisu. Thank you for joining us. The epidemic is still threatening people's health in Chile. City volunteers have been donating and giving supplies to local hospitals. In addition, volunteers have also made visits to slums, providing families with daily supplies. Chile city volunteers are purchasing supplies from the supermarket. These supplies will be given out as a relief package.
There are 18 families based on Huachalapa that need our help mainly because their parents do not have jobs. Today, the supplies we purchase will be given to them.
This kindergarten in a slum located in Huachalapa is free of charge for its students. But during mid-March, when the epidemic has gotten worse, many parents lost their jobs, facing financial difficulties.
Since mid-March, plenty of companies went out of business and I lost my job. These supplies are very helpful to us. Just when we needed it, you showed up. In harsh slums like this, without income, the supplies that you give us is life-saving.
Besides helping impoverished families, volunteers also continue to donate epidemic prevention supplies to hospitals. Volunteers in OCAC have delivered 30 boxes of supplies to the hospital.
Thanks to Tzu Chi for the supplies. Both COVID prevention supplies from hospitals and Tzu Chi are very good. We are helping the public hospital.
The superintendent of the children's hospital received the supplies on behalf of the hospital. She remarked that there's still a need for epidemic prevention supplies, and they're grateful for Tzu Chi's help. On July 6, Hunan in China experienced heavy rain and flooding, causing damage to Yanchi Township. 2,700 residents were affected and 22 houses collapsed. 15,000 acres of land filled with crops are now ruined. Upon hearing the news, city volunteers came to evaluate damage.
The scenery represents the destruction of flooding caused by heavy rain. Many houses in Yanchi Township are now inaccessible due to the rising water levels. Two weeks later, Tzu Chi volunteers made another visit. Witnessing the aftermath of disaster, what is left to residents is sorrow and helplessness. The corn planted here are all ruined after the floods came in. Now they are wasted. The heavy rain that brought in flooding had caused major damage to both crops and furniture.
Fast, we tried to carry things from first floor to a safe place, but we still couldn't save some things.
Stepping over the mud and into the household of an old couple, their house is completely ruined by the flooding, and the coffin they have saved is now damaged.
The coffin is underwater for a while. I have to scoop the water out of it for a long time.
I was scared of the coffin since youth, but after seeing today, I had a different feeling. I thought to myself, this coffin is their only asset, their only hope, and in the future, this is where they return to.
The flooding, which traumatized him, made the old man emotional.
The flood took away the homes for people. They must be suffering. This made me think that the 8-hour road trip is nothing compared to this.
Before supplies are given out, Tzu Chi has sent out volunteers to firstly comfort affected residents, giving them warmth through tough times.
Volunteers in Paraguay assisted families struggling during the epidemic by providing food and blankets. They also delivered 47 food parcels to an association for physically challenged people in Brazil.
This big pot is boiling with nutritious food for unemployed residents who can get 3 meals a week during the epidemic.
The current situation is very difficult for workers because most of them used to work in a big city, but there's no business in the city center now. There are also no business opportunities, so many workers are relying on other jobs in various communities.
Life is hard, but local people really appreciate good food. There are a total of 9 soup kitchens nearby, all of which are taken care of by the Sagrada Familia Church. Burden is quite heavy as Tzu Chi's Ciudad del Este liaison office also donated food materials to help.
Thank you Tzu Chi and Master Zheng Yang, who always stands by and cares for us, giving generously to the world, especially during this period of epidemic that plagues the world, helping those in need. I am really grateful.
Aside from a full stomach, one must also keep warm as it is winter in the southern hemisphere. Food and blankets are necessary, and a distribution is held at the children's hug home as residents are eager to receive assistance and help.
Tzu Chi people save 5 cents every day. That's how the current Tzu Chi Foundation was built, so everyone can do their best to show your love.
With little effort, even greater acts of love have been achieved. Volunteers also went to neighboring Brazil, where the epidemic is severe and prices are rising. The Association Privada de Despesado de Faz needed supplies in a hurry, and 47 food packs were delivered, which relieved their worries.
During this time, we don't have any income to bring food at this time. Thank you very much.
Muito obrigado. Em nome das nossas 115 alunos,
I want to express my gratitude to Tzu Chi on behalf of 115 students. In our most urgent time of need, the food donation your organization made is very important. These families are having difficulties during the epidemic, and they need everyone's help to get through it.
somos uma família unida.
With love, everyone can finally get through the low tide of life and begin to see a glimmer of hope and a brighter future ahead.
It may be a big expense for some families if someone in the family needs assistive devices, but there's actually another option. That is Tzu Chi's assistive device platform. People who need it do not need to spend half a dime. Although the assistive devices are secondhand, they'll be cleaned and checked.
This is Mr. Lee's home. His elderly father has mobility issues and has had a stroke recently. Although he was able to be discharged from the hospital, there is no assistive device at home. After learning about this, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately helped gather the devices for him.
Now he has no way to get up to walk. This is nice. It is high enough if he wants to get out of bed, lower the bed to this height, then rise the position of the head. Does it look like an armchair? In this way, everyone will feel more easy.
Volunteers send the assistive devices directly to Mr. Lee's home and also explain the usages in detail, in hope that the family can use them with peace of mind.
If you need crutches or anything, you can tell Tzu Chi sisters. We'll then send the device to you immediately so you can use it with ease of mind.
You explain the usage to us and help us arrange it so well. It's really convenient for us.
This one-stop service is actually arising from Tzu Chi's assistive device platform that has been established for more than 3 years.
All these are from different recycling stations. There may be some wheelchairs in one station, while a few hospital beds in another station. In the past, family members of the patients needed to go to every station to find a device, which was very inconvenient for them. Now we gather all assistive devices for centralized management.
At present, there are 13 bases in Taiwan. As long as people have been assessed to have a need for assistive devices by medical personnel, they can apply to Tzu Chi, join the line group and fill in an electronic application form. After approval, volunteers will send a device to the patient's home, and the whole process is free of charge.
The type of assistive device must be evaluated by doctors. As for evaluation, as we are not a government unit, we don't need to have official evaluation documents. As long as people tell us it's recommended by doctors or case manager or nurses, we will all follow with 100% trust.
These accessible devices are all second-hand. Some are collected from recycling stations, and some are given by the public, hoping to give them a second life. And if they are damaged,
This tire has been oxidized while other parts are still quite new. If you go out to repair it may cost you about $35. If we repair it by ourselves, it probably costs $5 only.
the aim is to reduce the second-hand accessible devices while maintaining good service quality. There will be professionals coming to teach volunteers every week. As for the service target, there is no limit. As long as there is a need, everyone can apply. After all, accessible devices are not cheap. It is hoped that family members can save the money of buying accessible device to enhance patients' quality of life.
According to a number of job banks, there are 270,000 recent college graduates this year. After accounting for those entering higher education and military service, there are at least 190,000 graduates entering the workforce. Many industries tend to be conservative in recruiting new talent. Here's more.
The joy of youth is soon over for these recent college graduates as they make their way into the work world.
I'm an overseas Chinese from Hong Kong.
I also hope that my English skills can be applied in my work.
We mainly conduct experiments in a special clean room.
Sit Chong Han came to study from Hong Kong to Taiwan. This student has an excellent resume, including graduate school competition certificates, master's thesis, abstract, and other materials. Unfortunately, this recent graduate may not be able to earn a high starting salary.
The salaries offered are not very attractive. Employees of a company are already accepting a reduced salary, so for recent college graduates, it is impossible to ask for high salaries.
The coronavirus has ushered in the most difficult graduation season in history. From March to June every year, business owners marched into the campus to recruit talent. The expo was crowded with people and was replaced by online recruitment this year.
If an employer has a job vacancy, they dare not to do one-on-one interviews because they are afraid that there is a risk of infection. So we will first arrange the resumes, and the employer will later do the screening.
This is the first video job fair in Taiwan. The electronic technology industry and the manufacturing industry account for 60 to 70% of demand for workers, though this is subject to frequent change, sometimes taking more or less workers. The catering and tourism service industry is more stable, accounting for 20% of the market.
你的头再转过来一点点，再低一点点，好，轻轻微笑，好。
A free photography headshot can improve the success rate of job hunting. With these beautiful photos, one cannot see the unease that some feel. In addition to peer competition, there are also unemployed groups and overseas returnees who make it easy to be squeezed out of the job market. Before graduating, they decided to take a different path. The first thing they wanted to do was open their snack stall.
These are vegan noodles, and these dumplings we all made by hand. It is quite chewy and you can try it.
The department that we studied in was marketing and sales. What we learned is actually quite useful.
They go to class one day a week and spend the rest of the time at the store. One of them, Lai Guanzhang, sold fruit juice in the night market and has served as a host for wedding events.
You have to do it when you want to do it, although it's a little harder. Our monthly income is between 1,000 to 1,300 USD per person.
When the store first opened, it was disrupted by the coronavirus epidemic.
It's very annoying. Not long after we opened, it hit us, and I didn't know if our food was bad or was it just the epidemic.
Later, relying on the marketing to resolve the crisis as well as delivery service and events, the business continued to be embroiled in financial difficulty. Entrepreneurship is always risky. Not everyone is suitable to be a boss. A promising job from 9 to 5 is still a simple goal of most people. It's their hope that the job market will fully recover, which now relies upon an economic recovery in the second half of the year.
In Taipei, Tzu Chi volunteers sees various opportunities to reach out to the communities and promote vegetarianism. They deliver vegetarian lunchboxes to seniors at care stations. They also went to tea gatherings to give talks on vegetarianism. Let's join them there.
In Neihu district, during the lunchtime, Tzu Chi volunteers deliver vegetarian meals to the attendees at the activity center and also promote the concept of vegetarianism.
我们这些都是社区的妈妈们。
The attendees are the mothers from the community. They're usually the chefs in charge of 3 meals at home. Today, I'm really grateful for the Tzu Chi volunteers to promote the concept of vegetarianism so that they can have this concept to promote healthy diet to their families.
把这个健康的饮食观念推给大家。
千万要健康。
Neihu Tzu Chi volunteers actively participate in various community gatherings and motivate more people to protect lives whenever they have the opportunity.
我自己本身也很注重。
I also love the earth very much. Since the Chinese New Year, I have not bought any meat food except for the original meat food in the refrigerator. It is hoped that the promotion of vegetarianism can truly save the planet.
更落实，才能够真正的救地球。
Lin Fengming has been a Tzu Chi donating member for more than 30 years. In today's tea gathering in Zhongshan district, she invited Tzu Chi volunteers to promote vegetarianism.
我希望说，
I hope that my friends around me can be vegetarian like me so that we can save the planet and reduce carbon emission.
减碳啦，你们讲的真的很好，所以我会慢慢。
What you said is really good, so I'll slowly change my eating habits and also promote vegetarianism to others.
宣传给别人呐，了解。
From protecting animals to simple diet, the behavior of loving Earth starts with you and me.
A couple in Kuala Lumpur are partners in a law office. Both their children study at Tzu Chi International School. They've been impacted by the change in their children after attending the school, influenced by Tzu Chi's humanitarian education. The couple have decided to bring this goodness into the workplace, inviting Tzu Chi volunteers to address their staff. Let's take a look.
Right? Is it a straw? Don't tell me it's a freaking straw.
Tzu Chi volunteers based in Selangor were invited to the HHQ law office for an event of promoting vegetarianism and eco-friendliness.
And it's bad for your future generations. So please remember, before you use single plastic, think carefully.
Through the promotion of recycling, participants were encouraged to do their best to protect the environment around them.
平时在家里也是会做一些环保的。
I normally recycle some plastics when I am back in the house. Sometimes I even collect recyclables and send loads to recycling station.
There's a recycling station in the company. We first wash the plastic and then recycle it. If it's reusable, then we'll keep it for further use. If it's not, then we'll probably recycle it.
Starting from their work, the company hoped to educate staff to contribute back to society through charity.
希望我全体员工，我身边的家庭。
I hope my employees, along with my family members, may become good volunteers, following the virtues and visions of Tzu Chi we learned through doing good deeds.
实践当中呢，在学习。
Gui Ming's children study at the Tzu Chi International School in Kuala Lumpur. After seeing the good changes the school has brought to his children, his wife would bring employees to the campus for volunteering work.
As a parent, I was very touched to see positive influence of Tzu Chi's teachers. This made me want to contribute more to the school. This time, our employees step out of the office and do volunteer work.
It is a
very meaningful, interesting, and also it's a very fun experience because we're able to interact with the students, the teachers, and also other volunteers. So we're able to work in a group. The team spirit is really good to have it. Okay.
It is certainly a blessing to be able to give to others. Employees of the law office have felt the same through volunteering. This would help the company bond with society through positive contributions.
A vegetarian restaurant in Malaysia's Kedah State promoted the idea of meatless cuisines. This attracted locals to try out vegetarian meals. But during the epidemic, the restaurant owner discovered that many families are facing financial difficulties due to unemployment. Therefore, he initiated a free lunchbox movement for people in need and helped many families in need.
The population of people who eat vegetarian food have increased these years, which can be attributed to religion, eco-friendliness, or health-related. A restaurant in Kedah State of Malaysia uses natural food resources, along with a creative touch to make vegetarian cuisine. It has brought in many customers.
I wanted to try to promote a vegetarian menu inspired by meat dishes to attract non-vegetarian eaters, no matter if they are young or old. If they can accept eating these dishes, then maybe in the future they might change their opinions and think, hey, eating vegetarian food isn't bad. Perhaps they might be open to vegetarianism.
Besides working at this restaurant, Ong Guk Hong is eager to contribute to society.
After the stay-at-home period during the epidemic ended, I thought to myself, there seems to be people in need of food since they are poor. Some people who are unemployed in remote regions don't know where their future is or what will happen to their job, which is why I want to bring care meals to them.
Ong Guk Hong brought care meals for the unemployed and elderly living in remote areas. This routine had become a major activity of his daily life.
When I opened this restaurant, money wasn't my ambition. I purely wanted to promote vegetarianism. During the epidemic, I wanted more people to be aware of vegetarianism.
Ong Guk Hong also shared his actions on social media platforms, which had much positive feedback. His actions not only solved the short-term hunger problem, but encouraged good deeds amongst communities.
During summertime, many parents send their children to the Tzu Chi youth camp. They hope that through survival courses, children will learn to protect themselves in dangerous situations. Let's join them there.
Tzu Chi volunteers based in Zhongli use ropes and scaffolds to construct and simulate outdoor dangerous situations.
The scaffolds we have set up simulates a tall building. In the case of a fire, by practicing the right moves, the participants will apply the right skill sets. This is to increase their confidence.
Tzu Chi Foundation held a summer camp for children to learn the right mindset and techniques when facing tough situations.
I've never experienced this before. I'm a bit scared and I want to finish walking quickly. It's very helpful to be a part of this, and I believe the techniques acquired today will help me in the future.
If I didn't learn these skills, such as rope climbing, I wouldn't be mentally prepared for an emergency situation.
The summer camp mixed age groups. Therefore, even elementary school children may take on the same challenges as middle or high school students.
It's a great experience because normally we don't have the chance to be in such situations. Today, I want to practice more to overcome my fears.
This activity has improved my balance by a lot, and I think that staying calm is a major factor.
Survival skills are just part of the program. Tzu Chi volunteers have set recycling and vegetarian cooking courses for the attendees too, believing that every child has the potential to become an expert.
Tzu Chi Children's Choir in Kaohsiung has performed the Buddha story at Kaohsiung Jingsi Hall. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.